Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Scenario 3 of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, the Black Ship. So pull up a chair and let's see what happens. After getting your fill of stew and plenty of rest at the Sleeping Lion, you start off early in the morning. The first order of business is looking for information on someone named Roland. He seems to be making a trade out of buying fresh corpses, and you'd like to know why. It is slow going at first, but you eventually find a pair of vermlings down in the sinking market who seem overly interested in cadaver disposal. After some rough persuasion, they cough up that they too are being paid by a man named Roland to deliver the bodies. They even give you the drop-off location, some derelict ship at the old docks. You head down to the pier and look around. It doesn't take long to spot the suspicious vessel. Not only is it leaking some vile black liquid from the hull, but there are two men wearing red robes standing guard outside on the dock. They notice you eyeing them and begin making threatening gestures for you to move along. Looks like getting to the bottom of this is going to require cracking a few more skulls. And then the special rules is just that we have to make sure characters add the first two ability cards marked 1 to their deck, so their starting hand now consists of 8 cards, and I have done that. That's right, this is Scenario 3, and in Scenario 3 we have some new components that have come into the game. First of all, we have new enemies, Zealots and Giant Vipers, but we also have a new kind of terrain that's outlined in purple here, and that's called difficult terrain. You can walk on difficult terrain, but it costs 2 movement to be able to move into a space that has it. Now, to move out is normal, but to move into a space with difficult terrain, you have to have 2 movement points. And also, you may not be able to see it right here, but there's a 1 on that door and a 2 here. And that means whenever you step on those doors, you'll read something from the book over there that gives you some story and some information possibly about what's in the next room coming up. And so those are the 2 new components. And also I did go ahead and spend some of my gold for items at the end of the last scenario. And for the Void Warden, I took weathered boots and stamina potion. And one of the things that I've read, not from a lot, but I kind of have heard that the Void Warden doesn't have a lot of movement on the bottom. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't played a lot, but I did notice that from the first 2 games, a lot of her bottom cards don't seem to have some movement. So I figured I'd give her the weathered boots to give her a +1 move, and stamina potions are always good to get a card back to help with exhaustion, but also to help get a card back you want to use again. So that's what I got for her. And then for the red guard, I took the throwing hammer. So on a ranged attack, you can add stun. You can only do it 1 time because you see at the bottom right there, it has that loss icon, which means it consumes it. So I can only do it once in a scenario, but if I think I need it, I'm going to use that stun. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to give it to him, because he's probably going to be on the front line taking some damage. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. And I do know what I want to do. The red guard will go at 14. The Void Warden will go at 23, and then the Zealots will go at 46. And so the reason why I wanted to go so fast with the red guard, let me move all this down here, is because the cultist is 2 spaces away. And so I was hoping to go first so I can immobilize them in case they had a melee attack. They wouldn't be able to hit me. Now, as it turns out, the card they drew is in range 2, so he is going to be able to hit me anyway. But, you know, I didn't know that was going to happen because they do have some melee attacks in their deck. But that's the reason why I did that. And then I had her go after him so that she can strengthen him. And because his turn will already be over, he'll be able to use strengthen on any attacks that she may be able to give him. But also, he'll be able to use strengthen on his next turn. So, let's go ahead and see how this turn works out for the red guard. So again, I'm going to go and attack 2 at range 2 and immobilize them, and then I'm just going to stay put there. There's no reason to move up because they're both going to get to attack. And so the second cultist over here, he's actually out of range and wouldn't be able to hit the red guard. So I'm going to attack, but I'm not going to move him. So it's an attack 2 of range at range 2. And he will attack for 2. Plus 0 is just 2. Okay, so 2 damage to the cultist here, dropping him from 6 to 4. And then it will immobilize him. All right, and then the next person to go is the Void Warden. And as I said, I'm going to use her bottom action. There's nothing to loot. I'm going to strengthen him. He's right next to her, so he is in range. And then I'm going to have him, it says force one enemy within range 3 to perform attack 3, targeting an enemy of your choice adjacent to them. So I'm going to have the cultist, which is in range 3. Let me show you. This cultist here is in range 3, so I'm going to have him attack the other cultist for an attack of 3. But the first thing I'm going to do is strengthen the red guard, okay? And then I'm going to have this cultist here attack the one next to it for 3. Now, their card does have muddle on it, but it isn't their turn yet, and I don't know if this would trigger anyway. So anyway, so it's an attack of 3 plus 2 is 5. And so that is good, because that's going to drop this cultist over here from 6 down to 1. All right, and now it is the cultist's turn. And as I said, this one here, he's immobilized, but he can reach the red guard. So they're going to get an attack. Their basic attack is a 2. I'll show you their stats. You know their hit points because you can see the dice on them. Their hit points are 6 for normal. They can move for 2 and attack for 2. But this card does not give them movement. So they're going to attack for a base of 3 because of that attack. And then they're going to muddle the red guard. So it's a 3 plus 0 is 3. So he will take 3 damage, dropping him from 10 to 7. And then he's going to be muddled. But basically the strengthen is just going to cancel that muddle out on his turn. And then the other cultist is not, he doesn't move and he's not in range of 2, so he won't get to do anything. And so that's it. Now we'll go into round 2. Okay, so I'm going to have the Void Warden this time go at 15. And I'm going to have the Red Guard go at 38. And the Zealot will go at 77. So good. I was hoping they would go slow. And the reason why is because, well, I'll tell you as we go. But the Zealot will go last, but the Void Warden's going to go first. And the reason why I wanted her to go first is because I'm going to have her heal the Red Guard for 2. He's right there. And then at the top, I'm going to have him shield 1 and then move 2 to get into position to try to take out these cultists. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. I'm going to heal him for 2, so he'll come back up to 9. And then he's going to shield 1. I'll just have to remember that. And then he can move 2. And unfortunately, I planned it wrong. I thought he was going to be able to move closer than he will. So I kind of messed up on his draw, and you'll see why in a minute. But he shields 1 and moves 2. And then on his turn, I thought I was going to be in position to be able to attack one of them and then deal damage to the other one with the top where it says target all enemies and deal damage, but that's not going to happen. And so I think what I'll do instead is I'll just move up one more space here with him. So I'm going to waste the strengthen. So I messed that up, and that happens sometimes in Gloomhaven. I'm not real familiar with these characters. Only played 2 games with them, but you know that's what happens. So I'm going to use the basic movement here to move into position, and then I'm going to go ahead and use the top action to target all enemies, and they suffer 2 damage. So that's going to knock out this cultist out of the game, and we'll put a coin in his spot, and the other one will drop down to 2, and his muddle and strengthen will both come off. He wouldn't have been able to take advantage of strengthen anyway because of the muddle, so I guess that worked out pretty good. And now it's their turn, and as you can see, he's going to move -1, but they don't need to, and he's going to attack for for 1, because again, the base attack is 2, minus 1 is 1, so he's going to attack for 1 and poison me no matter how it turns out. I do have shield 1, so it's an attack of 1, plus 0 is 1. The shield blocks it, so he doesn't take any damage, but he is poisoned now. All right, and that'll do it. We'll go into the next round. Okay, so I'm going to have the Red Guard go at initiative of 16, and the Void Warden will go at 49, and the Zealot will go at 27. So we're going to have a little bit of a difference here. The Red Guard will go first, then the Cultist, and then the Void Warden, and hopefully he can take him out take the Cultist out before she goes, before they go, because they get to heal 1 this turn. But let's see what happens. So he will go first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bottom action. I'm going to move just 1 space over here and then shield myself, because I want to attack at range of 2 for 3, and hopefully that's going to be enough to take out that Cultist who only has 2 hit points left. So I'm going to move 1 space over here. That's the bottom action. I have shield 1. And then I'm going to attack for 3. Minus 1 is 2. But that is going to be enough to knock out the Cultist. Alright, so we'll drop a coin in his space. And no need to pull because the Cultist is dead. And then the Cultist is supposed to go, but as I just said, they're dead. And this actually has the circle icon, so I'll have to reshuffle this at the end of the round. And now the Void Warden will go. And my plan here is I'm going to move her up for 2 and then heal him. It's just going to knock off the poison, but as you can see, and this is one reason why it was good he got poisoned, because all allies who remove poison with this heal gain bless. So he's actually not going to get any hit points back, but he's going to get a bless card shuffled into his deck. So she's going to move 2 up here. He is within range of... Oh, he's out of range. So, in order for her to be able to reach him, I'm going to use the Weathered Boots to give him one more movement, give her 1 more movement up here, so that, and she'll get this coin. So now, she's in range of him. And heal 2, range 2, so he won't heal any, but it will remove the poison, and he will get a Bless card shuffled into his deck. I'll do that right now. Okay, and so it is the end of that round, and as I said, I got to shuffle the 1 card that the Zealot drew back into the deck, so I'm going to do that real quick. And one of the new rules in Scenario 3 is called a long rest, and I'm going to perform that right now for both of them. So you'll go at initiative of 99, you get to heal 2, you get to take all your cards back and lose 1 of your choice, instead of losing 1 randomly, and you can refresh all the spent items. So she's going to be able to get her Withered Boots back to be able to use those again in the next room or whatever. So I'm going to do a long rest. They both are going to go at the same time. So for her, I'm going to lose this card here, Gift of the Void. I hate to lose it because it heals and everything, but I don't want to lose any of the other cards. I don't want to lose any of them. Have to lose 1 of them. I'll choose that. And so that will go back into her hand. She doesn't have anything to heal, but she will get her boots back. And then for him, I'm going to get rid of this card here, Flaming Sickle. All right, well, that's into that round, and now we'll move into the next round. Okay, so I'm going to have the Void Warden in this round go 23. The Red Guard's going to go at 87 because there's no enemies right now, and you're going to see why. She won't be in any trouble. And so we don't draw cards for the enemies yet because they aren't spawned. So she'll go first, and what I'm going to have her do is I'm going to have her move 3 and muddle at range 3, and she will be able to reach the target I'm looking at. And then I'm going to have her disarm a target at range 3 and force him to move 2 spaces. And you'll see how that works here right now. So she's going to move on 1 onto the door. And now I got to read 1. You burst into the cargo hold, and a foul smell hits you in the face. A river of sticky, black liquid flows through the ship, pouring between the various cracks in the hull. The source appears to be beyond the far door, but first, you'll have to fight your way past more ruffians and their pets. And once you land on a door space, you spawn all the enemies. And so, I don't know if you can tell the icons, but this cultist here has blank, so I won't spawn one here. This cultist has a blank, I won't spawn here. This does have a normal cultist, this has a normal viper, and this has a normal viper. So I'll go ahead and spawn all of those. Okay, so I've spawned all the enemies in the room. There is a treasure chest over here that I can get, and some gold and some traps that maybe I can use to my advantage. We'll see. Now I have to draw their cards, and but I'll go ahead and do that. The Zealots are going to go at 46, and the Viper is going to go at 18. So he's going to go as soon as she's done. Okay, but she has to finish her turn. She's going to move 2 more spaces up here. And as you remember, I can muddle at range 3. So I'm going to muddle this cultist that's right here. All right. And then I'm going to, for the top action, disarm at range 3. And this Viper is at range 3. So I'm going to disarm him. And then force him to move 2 with me controlling the action. Now that he's going to move into difficult terrain. So he's only going to be able to move up here into this space. But that's okay, because that's where I want him. I want him close to this trap, so hopefully I can make him step onto it next time. And that's her turn. So now the Viper will go. He's going to move again. He gets to move +1. His basic movement, again, is 2, so he can move 3. But he can jump, and jump allows you to kind of ignore the difficult terrain. But she is right next to him, so she's just going to move up right next to her, but he's disarmed, so he will not do any attacks on her, and he will lose the disarm. And now it's the cultist's turn. They can attack at range 2, and they're going to muddle him, but she's just out of his range, and they don't get any movement, as you can see, so he's not going to do anything on his turn, on the cultist's turn, and they are no longer muddled. And then the red guard is going to go. Now what I want to do here with him is I'm going to move him 4 spaces, and then I'm going to attack that Viper. I just realized I could do this. I'm going to attack the Viper for 2, and if that doesn't kill him, I'm going to pull him onto this trap, and that will kill him. So I'm going to move 4 into here, and I'll probably leave this gold coin behind. That's okay. I do that sometimes. But, you can't get them all, I guess. So he's going to move 4. And then I'm going to attack the Viper at 2. So it's going to be an attack of 2. -1 is 1. So it's only going to take 1 damage. But that's okay, because I'm going to pull 2. Pull him closer to me. And that's going to spring the trap. It's a 3 damage trap. He had 2 health left. And so he is defeated. And we'll drop a gold coin where that trap was. And that's going to be it for the round. Now we'll move into the next round. Okay, so for this round, I'm going to have them both go pretty fast. Red Guard's going to go at 14, Void Warden at 15. The Giant Viper will go at 43, and the Cultist will go at 77. So it will go in that order, and we'll see how this all turns out. All right, the Red Guard's going to go first, and I'm going to have him move right up here. Well, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is this top action, attack for 2 and then disarm. And I can do it within 2 hexes, and then I'm going to have him move up closer to him, to the cultist for next time, so that he can do some damage. So the first thing he's going to do is attack of 2, -2, so he won't do any damage, unfortunately, but it will disarm the cultist. And then I'm going to have him move 3, but he can only move up here because, remember, it takes 2 move points to move into difficult terrain, and so he couldn't move next here on the anyway on this turn. So that'll do it for him. And then the Void Warden, I'm going to have her step up and step on that coin so that she can loot it with this bottom action, and then with the top action, try to take out the Giant Viper with an attack of 3. I was hoping I could move him onto the trap, but he's just out of range, just a little bit out of range for her to be able to use the card for that. So I can't do it. But maybe I can take him out with this attack. So she's going to step up here with her bottom action. And then with her top action, she's going to attack 3 at range 3. And he is at range 3, so it's an attack of 3. Plus 1 is 4, and that's going to be enough to take out this Viper. And so he'll drop a coin on his space. And then she'll get to loot the coin that she's on. And now the Vipers are supposed to go, but they're off the board. Now it does have the circle, so I'm gonna have to reshuffle this at the end of the round. But there are no more Vipers left in this room. And then the Cultist is going to go. They won't move. There's someone right there, and he won't get to attack. So if he did attack, he would poison him. But remember, he's disarmed, so he doesn't get to do that. So the disarm will come off. And then I'm going to shuffle up the Viper's deck, and we'll move into the next round. All right, this time they're going to be going a little bit slower than normal. He's going to go at 38. She'll go at 43. The Zealot is going to go at 19. So the Zealot's going to go first. And he's going to attack the red guard. I'm not worried about the attack. I'm worried about the curse that's going to get shuffled into a deck, because the curse, this is a monster curse, but there are player curses. But as you can see, it's a null. So even if he has strengthened, there's a chance with this in the deck that I could draw this and the other null, and he would completely miss. But there's nothing I can do about it. That's how fast that he's going to act this time. So he's going to attack only for 1, a base of 1. And so I'll move this down, a base of 1, -2, so no damage to the red guard, but he is going to be cursed. Okay, and then the red guard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack for 2 with this bottom action, and then have him just deal 2 damage. If that doesn't kill him, there's something that the Void Warden's going to do that hopefully will. So we'll see how that turns out. The first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and attack for 2. So it's going to be an attack of 2. And there's our null. So it's not going to do anything. I will need the Void Warden to do what I have her set to do. I'm going to set it on top of his deck to remind me that I have to shuffle that at the end of the turn. And so that was an absolute whiff. And then 2 adjacent enemies suffer 2 damage. That won't miss. It's just going to drop him down to 4. From 6 to 4. All right. And then the Void Warden, what she's going to do is she's going to have him, 1 ally within range 2 may perform attack 4. And he is in range 2, so hopefully this is going to take him out. And then she's going to move 4 spaces. It'll be 2. She'll move. It'll take 2 to get here. 3, 4. And she's going to end her turn on this treasure chest, and I'm going to see what that treasure chest is. So, first thing is he's going to get the attack for 4. Plus 1 is 5, and that'll work. So that will take out the cultist. And we'll drop a coin on that space. And then for her turn, for her movement, 2, 3, 4 on the treasure chest. And let me see what that is. And that is the Fateful Compass. During your turn, force 1 enemy within range 3 to perform a move 2 action with you controlling the action. Now it is a trinket-like item, and you can only have 1 of those right now, and I already have 1, so I have to turn this upside down. I wouldn't be able to use it in this scenario, but I could make a decision and use it in the next scenario if I wanted to. And that's going to end her turn. And I do have the stamina potion. I could use it, but I think I'm going to wait. I am going to have to rest, though. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The Void Warden will lose Suggestion. Okay, one of my quick cards. That's unfortunate, but she'll take those back in her hand. And then the red guard will lose the Desert Knight. His move 6. That is unfortunate because I was going to use that. I needed to use that, but that's what it is. So we'll move in to the next round. Okay, this time I'm going to have the Void Warden going at 43 and the Red Guard at 87. And the reason why I'm having him go so late is because as you can see on the board here, he's so far away from the door that he's not going to be able to reach it. There's too much difficult terrain. So I'm just going to have him do the best he can. But I am going to go ahead and take a risk with her and move up. She'll be able to get on this door, which will spawn these monsters. And I'm going to have her go ahead and start working on them. That is kind of dangerous with her hit points, but I think she'll be okay. That's what I'm going to do. So she will go first. And I'm going to have her move 4, which is enough to get her onto that door. And then she's going to disarm a target within range 3 and force them to move 2. And I think I'm going to disarm the cultist because I have a plan that's coming up. And so I'm going to disarm that cultist. I know she'll probably get hit by that viper, but as I said, I have a plan coming up. So that's what I'm going to do. She's going to move 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I got to read number 2 for the door. The smell gets even worse when you finally open the door to the back cabin. More of these robed madmen are performing some sort of incantation over an altar piled high with severed limbs and unidentifiable mounds of flesh. With the flies buzzing and the strange guttural howls, all you want to do is get as far away as possible. But you have a job to do, so you commence with the killing. So I've spawned the enemies, and they're going to go, the cultists will go at 27, and the viper will go at 33. Okay, and so with her top action, as I said, I'm going to actually disarm the cultist, and then have that cultist move 2 spaces. Okay, so the cultist is going to be disarmed, and it will move up, just up 1 space. It can't move on to the difficult terrain because it doesn't have enough movement. I don't have enough movement to pull it that far. And then the Zealot, I keep calling them a cultist, but they're Zealots. Sorry about that. The Zealot's going to heal 1, but there's nothing to heal. And then she can move up. Her movement is 2, so she can move onto the space. She has enough movement to move on to this space right here. And she would attack. Oh, actually, no, it's a ranged attack, so she doesn't need to move. That would give her disadvantage. I don't know how that's worked. They're disarmed, so they won't attack, but they don't need to move. She doesn't need to move for range, so I guess I just leave them there. And so I got to shuffle that at the end of the turn. And by the way, I forgot to do this, but I do want to have the Void Warden use the stamina potion to get a card back from the discard pile. I've done that, and then the Viper is going to move. He can jump, so he can move 2 already, and that's all he needs to be able to move. And he's going to attack. For the base attack for the elite is a 2, as you can see here. So it's going to be a base attack, target 2, but there's only 1 person to target. So he will be able to do that. So we're going to move 2. And they're going to attack for a base of 2. Plus 0 is just 2 damage. So 2 damage to the Void Warden. And all of the attacks for the elite and actually the other Viper. We didn't see it because they weren't attacking. But they always apply poison. So she's going to be poisoned until she can heal that off. And now it is the Red Guard's turn. And I'm going to have, all I can do is just have him move. And I'm going to have to waste this top part. So I'll have him move 2, 3, 4 right here with that space there. And that'll do it for the round. And then I got to shuffle up some of the Zealots cards, and then we'll start the next round. Okay, so this time the Red Guard is going to go at 32. And then to do what I wanted to do, she's going to have to go at 49, which may be slow. She may end up having to lose a card out of her hand to withstand damage. We'll see. Hope not. But the Viper will go at 43, and so that's unfortunate. It's a little too fast. And so both of them. So the Void Warden is going to go last. Okay, so the Red Guard, all he's going to be able to do is move 3, and so he'll move 1, 2. Oh, he can't even get where I need him to go to get to this coin. He doesn't have enough movement, so he'll just have to move 2 and stay there, and then waste his top action. And then the Giant Viper will go, and he doesn't need to move because he can't get past her, so he'll attack her with a -1. So an attack of 1 plus the poison is 2. So an attack of 2 plus 0 is 2 on the Void Warden. So she drops down to 2. And I'm going to have to reshuffle his deck, and then at the turn because it has a circle. And then the cultist is going to do an attack of 3 and muddle her. Okay, so it's going to be an attack of 3 plus 0 is 3, but that would kill her, so she's going to have to lose a card out of her hand. And I'll just have her lose this one here close to the abyss. And that's going to muddle her. So now she's poisoned and muddled. All right, and finally on her turn, it's a little bit too late, but it'll work for next time, I guess. She's going to disarm the Zealot, and then have her force her to move 2 spaces, which would be right up next to the Giant Viper, and that's what I want to do, because so I'm going to use the top action for that, because with the bottom action, I want her to have an enemy within range 3 to perform an attack 2 targeting enemy adjacent. I want that Viper to hit the cultist, because not only will it do damage, but it's going to poison that cultist, because Giant Vipers always have poison. So that's what I'm going to do there. So with the bottom action, the Viper is going to attack the cultist for 2. Oh, it's going to completely miss. It won't do any damage. That comes out at a bad time, but it still will poison the cultist. So I have to remember that. So the cultist is poisoned. A lot of things stacked up over here on them, but that's it. So that's going to end the round, and I'm going to go ahead and rest with the Void Warden so that I can be sure to have enough cards in case I can't get out of the way fast enough to burn. So she's going to lose Turn Out the Lights. Okay, so the other 2 will go back into her hand, and then we'll start the next turn. Actually, before I go to the next turn, I'm going to have the Red Guard rest as well, do a short rest. So I'll shuffle his cards a little bit, and he will random lose Blinding Sickle. I don't want him to lose that, so he's going to take a damage and put that one back in his hand, and instead he will lose Shield Spikes. Okay? Now we'll go into the next round. Okay, so this time I'm going to have him move fast. I'm going to have the Void Warden go at 15, the Red Guard at 16, hoping that she can get out of the way and not take any more damage for the rest of the scenario. We'll see. The Zealots are going to go at 19, so fast, but not fast enough that I can go for. I'll get to go first, and then the Vipers will go at 58. Okay, so I'm going to have the Void Warden go first and disarm. I'm going to end up disarming both of them so they can't attack at all. But she, if you remember, actually, the cultist was disarmed from last time, actually. That's why they're both going to be disarmed. Sorry about that. So I'm going to have her disarm the other enemy. So she'll disarm the Giant Viper Elite. And then I'm going to move that yellow off. I'll just have to remember that he's Elite. And so I'm not going to have her move, though. I want her to sit right there. So they're both disarmed. And then she is going to move 3 spaces. I'm going to use her boots so that she can step back out of the way. So she can go 1, 2, and then 3 onto this space and get out of the way and make room so the Red Guard can come up and start taking the hits and doing his thing as well. So now it's going to be his turn. And what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have to use the 2 movement points just to get right here. And then I'm going to use the attack of 2, range 2. I don't know if I'll pull one. I doubt I will. I'll see what happens, but I have to do a ranged attack because I can't get close enough otherwise. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to step here. I'm going to attack the cultist because the cultist, if you remember, is poisoned. And so it's going to be an attack of 2 plus 1 is 3 plus the poison is 4. So a total of 4 damage to that cultist. All right, so that's going to drop him down from 6 to 2. And I don't think I'll pull the Zealot. I call it cultist. You know what I mean. Zealot, cultist, same thing. I don't think I'm going to pull him. And then that's his turn. Now, the Zealot wants to attack, to move and attack. They can move into that space, so they're going to move here anyway. I guess I could have pulled them. They can move into that space. But the problem is he's disarmed, so he's not going to attack or curse me this turn, and that's good. But the disarm will come off. And then the Viper wants to move, but he can't get past the cultist. He can't get past the cultist because he has a move of -1, which means even as an elite, he only has a movement of 1. So he would have to get in the cultist spot, but he can't. So that's going to end his turn. That's going to end the round, and we'll move in to the next round. Okay, and then for this round, I'm going to have the Red Guard going at 14. And the Void Warden will go at 43. The Zealot will go at 27. And the Viper will go at 43, okay? Now, when there's a tie between the enemy and the hero, the player character, from what I understand, the character gets to go first. So the Void Warden will go ahead of the Viper, and the cultist is going to get to go second. Okay, so the Void Warden, what I'm going to have him do is he's going to step up, or he's going to just go ahead and attack. Actually, it's going to be for 3, because remember that cultist, the Zealot, is poison. I'm hoping that's going to kill the Zealot. And then if it does, I'm going to have him move up into position to try to take out that Viper. So he's going to attack the Zealot for 3, plus 1 is 4, and that will be enough to take out the Zealot. And that's going to drop a coin in the doorway there. And then with his movement, he's just going to move to get into position, and that's going to end his turn. So he'll get the coin that he landed on. Okay, and if you remember, the Zealot was supposed to go, but there is no Zealot. They're dead. They're completely done. So now the Void Warden will go. And what I'm going to have her do is allow a character, one ally within range 2, and he is within range 2, if you can see that, to attack 4 on that Viper. And by the way, he's not disarmed anymore. The Viper's not. But hopefully that's going to take care of it. And then I'm going to have her move for 4, which would basically just be up right here so that she can get this coin. And hopefully this is going to end the scenario. We'll see what happens. So it's going to be an attack of 4 plus 2 is 6. And so that is going to be enough. They only have 5 health, no shields. That will be enough to take out the Viper. And that means a coin will drop in that space, but he's not going to be able to reach it because he's done. And then with her 4 movement, I'm just going to move 2 spaces right here to take this coin, and she'll get that. So she's looted 3 coins, he's looted 1, and that is the game. It certainly doesn't give you pleasure sifting through the human remains on the altar, but it does end up proving useful in between the bouts of vomiting. You find a necklace, one Sandy, described in detail as never leaving the neck of her husband. With this in hand, you can bring at least some peace to the blacksmith's widow and inform the city guard about this whole situation. Still, you have a sneaking suspicion this isn't the end of the trail. These robed men were certainly all underlings, which means Roland is still out there. One can make the argument that this is the city guard's job, but you search the cabin of the ship anyway and find a curious map. It is a crude depiction of the boiler district, and one building is clearly marked. Surely it couldn't hurt to check it out. Now the rewards for this is each character gains 1 perk. It says to look at that in the next Learn to Play guide, but basically these are the perks over here that you can see on this right side. I can put a check mark, and whatever I do, I put that modifier into the deck of the character that it belongs to. So in this case, the red guard, I'd check one of these and put that modifier shuffled into his deck. The other one is that the location is a ritual stone, and that's going to be for scenario 4. Now, yes, I know if there's any experienced players watching, I know that I played a little suboptimally by having my Void Warden, who's squishy with only 6 health, move in and try to take care of these guys, even though I did it because the red guard was back here. I knew I probably should have waited on him, but quite frankly, I've played Gloomhaven enough that I felt comfortable that I was going to win this scenario no matter what. So I did take some risk. I did take some chances. You know, unless you have a cloak of invisibility or some way to go invisible or some way to shield yourself, I don't recommend letting your squishy with only 6 hit points go in and open the next door. But, you know, in that case I did because, again, I didn't want to wait for the red guard to get up. Who knew how many turns that was going to take? And I am kind of pressed for time. I tried to go as fast as I could. But also, I did have that plan where I wanted to kind of get them together so that the Viper could attack the Cultist and poison her, poison the Zealot, which is what happened. And so it worked out. I did have to burn a card, but, you know, I still had a few more turns left. Well, I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. If you did, please consider to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell because there are going to be more Gloomhaven scenarios that come out. And until I put out more videos, I'll save you a seat at the table.